find a low-hanging fruit. So let's just start there. I always go list of US cities by population. I go home advisor. As simple as that, I keep it simple. Okay, you guys must have seen this enough to be like bored to death over here, right? Right, okay, great. So I would just pick a city, preferably close to you in your state. So if you live in Florida, pick something in Florida, but it could be anything, right? Then I would pick a niche over here. Why? Because these businesses are paying paying Home Advisor for leads, right? And I would just pick a niche over here. So let's just say fencing, right? So I would say fence. I like fencing. Independence, Missouri. Okay, seems like a nice, right? And then I say, okay, Independence, Missouri, fence. So now Google is giving me fence company, fence repair. I'm going to go search, right? So one of the questions I had was somebody asked, what if it's zero search volume? Number one, don't go by these plugins. None of those plugins are accurate. If the city has 100 to 200,000 population, chances are high in most niches, there are some people looking for that search volume. You just need to send any contractor 4 or 5 or 6 calls a month to make your $500 to $800 a month. Make sense? So let me, if I am Assad, here is what I would be doing, right? These guys are running ads. They're paying for calls. Okay, so that means there's opportunity. There's a market potential there. Number two, is this a low-hanging fruit? Can somebody tell me, is this a low-hanging fruit or not? Give me a 1 for low-hanging, 2 for not low-hanging or something, so I know. Joy says 2 is not a low-hanging. Okay. Who else? Assad says 1. David says 2. Okay, here is what it goes, right? Mike says 1. I would say it's a low-hanging fruit. You know why? Again, there's no hard and fast rule. It's just a rule of thumb, right? It's just a gauge kind of a thing, right? This one's got no website. 2 of these GMBs have less than 20 reviews. One guy's got a lot of stuff, 88 reviews and a website and all that. But you see the other 2 things is pretty low. And then organic, this is the number 1 guy who's ranking, his homepage ranking. This guy is ranking because it's his inner page. So he has Kansas City, Independence, Missouri. Like this guy here, right? He's probably got all the service areas. You see that? Right? So his inner page is ranking not because he is optimized properly, but just because he's got a lot of content and also because none of these are optimized properly. So this is the number 1 guy who's optimized and ranking. He's the homepage, right? Inner page or directory listing, inner page. Another guy, okay, inner page, directory listing, Yelp. I love it when I see a lot of these, right? So if I take this guy here, look at this. He's ranking with 0 backlinks for Independence, Missouri. You see that? Right? Let's take this guy here, the number 1 guy who's ranking. Okay. Okay, I'm giving you a quick crash course, and then we're going to make some calls if needed also, right? He's ranking for 2 keywords with 0 backlinks. Do you see that? These guys are ranking for these keywords, not because they did a great work in SEO and optimizing, but they're ranking because they are in a market that is so open, that is so underutilized. They are not fighting with Mike Tyson. They are fighting with a toddler. You can be obese, out of shape, unhealthy, and still knock out a toddler, right? That's what we're looking for. Now, it's a gross example. Please don't knock out any toddlers. You get the idea, right? But in SEO, rank and rent, right? Let's look at this guy who we opened up. Is this the guy? Sorry, this guy. Lujan Fencing, right? How many pages does he have? He's got 1 freaking page indexed. You see that? He's number 1. So in my opinion, it's a low-hanging fruit. I pulled this guy out from thin air. Like I just went to a city here and I went to a niche here. This is what all I do all day long. I'm like, oh my God, right? So now ranking wise, right? I don't have to do a lot of work. Where did the search thing go? Right? I don't have to do a lot of work to rank over here, right? There's 50 searches a month. A lot of people fencing guys. You see that? Does that make sense to you? So if I go and say 1 call a week, if I am sending to a potential client, that's 4 a month, right? Now let's just go here and search for fence repair costs, right? 300 to 900 bucks for fence repair, 600 bucks on average. Okay, 600 bucks for fence repair. This is just for repair, right? 600. If I want to do fence installation, right? 1,000 to 10,000. You see that? 3,000. You see that what I'm saying? So even if I go, right, it could be, I could send them somewhere 4 calls a month, anywhere from 600 to 3,000. Let's just lowball it, right? I'm only sending him 4 $600 repair calls, right? Out of the 4 calls, right, he only closes 2 jobs, right? That's equal to $1,200 a month of additional revenue for this guy. I'm lowballing the numbers, guys. When we rank for multiple keywords, all kinds of friends and all that, this is nothing. He'll be making 10K or more. If I send him 2, if he closes 2 jobs at this, then he made an additional 6 grand. All said and done, once you do the ranking with multiple keywords, you should be able to send a business owner in a smaller city like that at least $6,000 to $10,000 a month of additional revenue. Make sense? If you do that, do you think he'll pay you 10% to 15%? That's at least $600 to $900 a month minimum to you. Does that make sense? That's what we are looking at. Most of you guys, you probably at 0 to 10K level, you need to get 1 or 2 of that going. Joy says it's fence seasonal. If you are in the winter, like in Michigan, it could be seasonal. In Texas, I don't think it's seasonal, right? Kansas City, Independent, Missouri, they have some winters, but you can make a ton of money. Greg Rosenfield, okay, he's a member in my mastermind. He has a fence website rented out. I got on a call with him a couple of days ago, a couple of months ago, and he did not have, his fence guy was not paying him properly. I said, you have a ton of calls getting in this fence website. Why do you want to rent it out? Why don't you take the calls and see if you can subcontract it out? 2-3 days ago, and I think I posted this, he told me he took the call. It was some lady in $1 million house, $70,000 fence installation job. He subcontracted it out, and I asked him, what's your profit? It's like 20,000, maybe 18, 20,000. That's where you are. Okay, so you can, there's so much potential. It's crazy, guys. That's what I'm saying. Does that make sense? But if you're new, don't start thinking you can make $70,000 jobs and $20,000 profit. Start with $600 a month. Does it make sense?